Hello traders, Greg here with a market update. Okay, so we've had a pretty slow start to the week as far as markets are concerned, but we did start to get a little bit of action overnight. So firstly, we've got some economic data overnight, some CPI inflation data out of Canada. So year on year, inflation was expected to come in about 1.8%. It actually came in lower at 1.7%. So the Bank of Canada will certainly enjoy that number. And on the back of that, we saw some Canadian dollar weakness, so the market bought dollar CAD up. On the inflation front, we do get some UK CPI numbers that come out this afternoon. And for the UK CPI numbers, a lot different to Canada. They're actually expecting that CPI to marginally go up to 3.7%. Not so good. UK would, BOE would certainly love the Canadian inflation numbers, so they have a little bit of a problem. So no doubt if you are trading sterling or you're trading the FTSE, you need to be focused on those UK inflation data today. Also overnight we had some geopolitical news. Obviously the big geopolitical news at the moment is the world getting together towards peace in Ukraine with Russia and Ukraine. We had all the European leaders at the White House obviously on Monday with Zelensky meeting Trump. And now the situation is moving fast, it's fluid, and we are now looking at a new meeting between now Putin and Zelensky, so that's a big deal. No date yet, but looks like it'll probably be within the next week, and the most likely location they're talking about at the moment is Budapest. Look, one of the markets that looks like it is trading a little bit on this geopolitical news is gold. Gold at the start of last week opened up around that 3,400 area, and ever since we've been having all this positive news with respect to big steps moving towards peace. Gold is something that loves wars, hates peace, so gold has traded lower, and it did close overnight on the lows of the overnight session, down around about the 33.15 area. So we're off almost $100 in the last week and a half, and we have broken through. There was some support for gold, technical support around that 33, 30 area, and now breaking through that. The next big support really is it's below 3,300, around that 32.80 area. But certainly now look, bias is being short gold, with a lot of positivity with respect to this, Russia and Ukraine moving towards peace. Overnight we did see some equity market weakness. In the US, S&P was down about 0.5%, Nasdaq was down about 1.7%, and look, the equity markets have been a raging bull market. They're at record highs, and we are moving into a big risk event at the end of the week, which is Powell speaking at Jackson Hole. So it looks as if some of those equity traders may be, trimming some of their positions, taking some profits. It's probably a wise thing to do. The other point to note is that August, September, moving into seasonality that generally is not good for equities, and September is actually the worst month of the year for US equities. On average, it's down about 1% in September, US equities. So yes, chasing equities fresh longs up at these sort of levels probably isn't the wisest thing you can do. Anyway, moving along, today in Asia we do have a Reserve Bank of New Zealand meeting. That's the big event today. Market is expecting the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to cut rates from 3% down to, from 3.25% to 3%. But we are getting towards neutral rates for the RBNZ. Look, if they're not at neutral rates at 3%, certainly they probably will be, at say 2.75. So it will be interesting just to see how the Kiwi reacts. No doubt the big move will probably happen on the press conference. So if the Reserve Bank of New Zealand does give a signal that the bar is certainly very high now for further rate cuts, etc., and they're sort of comfortable now, down towards these neutral rates. That could certainly be a positive for Kiwi. So running in short into this RBNZ meeting may not be the play of the day. Look, other than that, not a hell of a lot going on in markets. As I said, the big risk event is waiting for Powell to speak at the Jackson Hole Central Bank Symposium, which happens Friday night. And so there may be some more positioning by the market, basically lightening up going into that meeting, because certainly, the market at the moment is priced very heavily for a September rate cut. 84% probability at the moment, Fed Fund futures. So the market certainly is hoping that Powell aligns with that probability, but the risk is obviously he does not, and still wants to see a few more data prints before he commits. So one way or the other, these markets will move at the end of the week. So good luck with your trades until then, and we'll check back in shortly.